Hi, I'm Amy Henderson, Director of Communications and Marketing for the Georgia Municipal Association, and we're here at GMA's annual convention in Savannah, Georgia, and we're here in the exhibit hall with all the exhibitors around us, joined by Douglasville Mayor Rochelle Robinson. Welcome to Savannah and to the convention. I know this is not your first convention at GMA, but it is your first as mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
What are some of the things that you find at GMA that help you in your role as mayor?
It's such a great support system, Amy. Just coming here, seeing other mayors from larger city, smaller city, mid-size, the same. You have some of the same issues, and it really helps to have another perspective, to talk to colleagues, to help you solve some of those issues and navigate through what's going on in your city. So the support system and fellowship.
Well, that's great. Again, and to put it in context, we have about 2,300 people who are registered for the convention. Wow. Of that, about 1,100 are elected officials just like yourself. Mm-hmm. And that is a great thing that you can talk to each other, and we like to say borrow ideas from each other.
Borrow. That's cute.
It sounds so much nicer than what we're really doing, which is stealing ideas.
There you go. Borrow.
And you've been in some training classes this week.
Have.
Tell us a little bit about the class that you went to, the 2 classes you've been to.
I was in just an excellent class, roles and responsibilities of council members, of elected officials and staff. And of course you think you know these things, but once you're there and to be elucidated, just the professor, he's from UGA, I believe, for the Carl Vinson Institute.
Walt McBride.
Was it Walt? Holbrook or...
Okay.
I can't think of his last. It was, anyway, he has beautiful curly hair. I told him his thing was the hair. He had the Kennedy hair. But at any rate, he used an analogy of a train. And he said, elected officials, you're the train. You've purchased the train. You tell the train where to go on its tracks. You can even decorate the train, have some decor. He said, but you are not the conductors of the train.
Well, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, so you're policy setters. You set the policy, and you let your staff, your city managers, and whomever else drive the train. He said you would be really ineffective if you purchased the train. If the owner of Norfolk Southern came down and tried to drive trains, how much would they get done?
That's a great analogy, and it's an important class because we do see a lot of we see conflicts sometimes.
That's right.
Where elected officials want to they want to also drive the train.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's good to have that understanding of what it is that you're there to do, because it is an important role.
It sure is. You have to, hire staff that you trust and empower them to walk out your vision. Right. So you set the policy, you set the vision, and they walk it out. Yeah. And it really helps to have a great team. It makes everything cohesive. Right. Yeah.
And as policymakers, you're also in charge of saying this is the vision, so everybody knows.
That's exactly right.
Because you don't want to be jumping tracks.
That's right.
To carry out that train analogy.
That's right.
You're taking some more classes?
Civics and government, which has been really imperative for me. I went to the Mayor's Conference, U.S. Mayor's Conference in Washington, D.C. at the beginning of the year in January, and I met a lot of great contacts, representatives from Puerto Rico. We've had folks come in from Cameroon, and so that class talked to us about how to greet foreign dignitaries, when to raise your flag in the city. If someone dies or there's something important that happens nationally, what you're supposed to do with your American flag, how you stand and you place your hand on your heart, and
because you don't want to offend accidentally.
Exactly. So that was a great class. It really helped cement in your mind again what you think you know. Sometimes you need to revisit these things.
Yes, exactly. And then you're taking a class on money.
I'm taking a class on money all day.
It's like how to turn over the sofa cushions.
That's right. It helps you to seek out grants for your city. One of the things that I would love to do is to revitalize the downtown area. And a lot of that is streetscapes, helping our Main Street and folks to go out and try to get LCI monies and monies from the state, and just really, that's something that people is tangible, that folks can see. It seems like a fluff item, but if you can see, a lot of people can't see infrastructure.
It makes them feel good about where they live when they can say, hey, we have these cool things in our city.
Yes, we see trees and park benches, and the sidewalks are done, and you expanded the sidewalks with maybe pavers. And so even now we've had the Hydrangea Festival come to our city not too long ago. I know. The Nash Penny Henry Hydrangea Festival, and this year was We Love America, and the flags are up in the downtown area on 3 streets in down the middle of Campbellton Street, which is one of our main streets in our city. And we're keeping them up for the 4th of July. When I go into downtown Coffee Roasters or someone, they're thanking me for the flags.
Right. Oh,
so I
that's
said,
nice.
keep the flags going. So things like that,
Yeah.
you know, I'm trying to
and
get
I
monies
think
for
people
that.
don't really understand, too, kind of the limited sources of funding
That's
that
right.
cities have. That there's not a big pot of money out there.
That's right.
And even when you go seeking grants, there's almost an art form to how you apply for a grant.
That's exactly right.
To make sure to get yours to rise to the top, because there's so many cities, counties, other agencies
That's
also
right.
seeking those funds, and you have to know how to place yourself to be competitive.
Yes.
And you've mentioned too wanting to do something with the arts downtown.
Yes.
Share a little bit about that.
Well, tomorrow my class, it's a mobile classroom tomorrow, and I've signed up for Town and Gowns, and we're going to Savannah Arts Institute. What's SCAD?
SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design.
There
I
you
believe.
go. There
Yeah.
you go. I should know these things. But there are 70 campuses all over Savannah area, and we're going to tour those campuses, and then we have a panel that we'll talk to folks about trying to integrate arts into your community. And we have an arts, cultural arts district, or the CAC is what it's called, but I would really like to have an arts district that's very visible to help with entertainment. This year is Let Us Play, Cities in Play.
Cities in Play, yep.
And those things really help to connect your community.
Yes.
So,
and as you probably recall, last year our theme was arts based, and and we had this great report that came out that showed that GMA was a part of with the Georgia Arts Council that showed the economic impact of arts in cities. And so it's not again just about this will make us feel good.
Right.
It is. This will drive business and economic development in your downtown. So what a great thing to be pursuing. And the folks at SCAD, I mean, they know.
Oh my gosh.
They know what they're doing. You just walk through Savannah
respected.
and you see what they've done to downtown Savannah, and it's amazing.
It makes a difference. We were in Columbus, Georgia, the Atlanta Regional Commission. I'm part of the ARC, and we went to Columbus, Georgia. That whole with Columbus State, you know, Chattahoochee River, and oh my goodness, seeing murals. Their parking decks even look great.
Yeah, and when you can harness the power of the creativity of like what's going on with the universities and the colleges, and so a lot of them do have downtown presences. You bring that in and harness, engage with that. It's such a big difference what they can do in your community.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
That should be a great class.
Yeah,
and we were
excited.
just talking briefly about the speaker yesterday. The keynote speaker here.
Oh my goodness.
Was Steve Gross from the Life is Good Foundation, and he moved me in so many ways. What was your impression?
It's the secret sauce. He had the secret sauce. He talked about things that he really had the background with being a clinical psychologist to tell us what happens in your mind and how that affects how you live.
Right.
And he had those 3 examples of baseball cards where there were 3 guys and one didn't smile at all. Satchel Paige had a little smile that he was trying to smile. And then the last gentleman, I can't remember his name, his smile was so ultra bright.
Yeah, he's a happy guy.
I know it. And he lived 7 years longer than the baseball player. These were baseball cards who didn't smile. That really impacted me because he said that reflection on that baseball card was really something that was on the inside. Yeah. And if you're happy on the inside, it really helps you to live longer.
Yeah.
And so that Life is Good just was so optimistic.
Yeah.
It really helped you to see whether you were the person who looked at the glass half empty or half full, what perspective that you need all of those personalities and mindsets in your city.
And I loved the pyramid he had that showed.
Oh my goodness!
How having a difficult childhood or being deprived in childhood, and then you add on the next layer, and how it can lead to, gang activity, drug activity, but again the optimism of the fact that in between each one of those stages,
that's right,
there are ways to disrupt that pyramid.
That's
and
right.
he shared some examples of that, and his whole message I thought was just amazing.
Oh my goodness.
There were a couple times when I was just like, oh no, you're about to make me cry. Just
I know
stop there.
it. I had to try to catch myself. There were people around me, so I'm thinking I have
we can't do this.
And look stately. But it really was inspiring. And for me, I'm coming off of Georgia Tech. The President Bud Peterson and his wife are going around the state. They have a Georgia Tech tour, and they were in Douglasville. And so they told a story that how they're raising money privately. They've raised $65 million in the 7 years they've been there. And how one young man from Brunswick, Georgia, had the credentials academically, but he didn't have money to get into Georgia Tech. He finished in 3 years. He was living in his car with his mom and his sister. He finished in 3 years Georgia Tech. He put them through college. Now he's working for a Fortune 500 company. It just changed the trajectory of his life. And so I felt the same way with the speaker yesterday, that if we can infiltrate in those horrific events of someone's life, that it can change their lives and their families' lives.
You know, if you've got a child that is in a bad situation, having a place for them, a park, a recreation program that is a safe place for them, that it could change lives. And that is just, when you think about city government and the power that you have as an elected official to actually impact and change lives, it's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. It's a legacy that I want our city to have, that you can come here and, you know, pick up a soccer game or play baseball at Hunter Park, or, you know, play football, and that'll give you something to do, so you won't have to join a gang. You won't have to look for something that isn't positive.
In Douglasville, I'm reminded of your police chief, your wonderful, wonderful police chief, who we talked to.
Violence.
Yeah, and he's doing that one person at a time. He is that gap in between, you know, all those stages, impacting and changing the trajectory, and you know, what a wonderful resource and treasure you have with him.
That's right. I love Chief Sparks. Awesome. He's been doing it for years without any recognition, and just really those are, a lot of kids are court mandated to do something, and he takes over and has that, I think it's 8-week course where he brings in folks to talk to them, to put them on the right path, help them manage their money, look at school seriously. If you do not, this is where you're going. You know, you're going to end up being incarcerated, and your life is just...
We need to get him on one of the panels here at the GMA Convention.
He's been speaking, you know, at some of the classes for newly elected officials, but we need to get him.
Yes, he's so good. So what other plans? You've got some training going on. Are you going to some, I can't say the word, concurrent sessions this afternoon? Any plans for those? I can't remember what all is.
I have to look at the schedule and see.
It's packed.
They've had me running, which is really good.
Yes.
You know, yesterday we had dinner with our city attorney, but then I went to another meeting with cities. There were large cities, mayors from large cities. And so there were probably about 12 or 14 of us at that dinner, and it really
Again,
was
another sharing
oh my
opportunity.
Goodness. Yes, a great opportunity.
So, to people who think that coming to the GMA convention is just all fun and games.
It's a lot of work. It's great, though. You're like a sponge. When I leave, I have to decode everything and write down what I've learned, some bullet points.
I walked past a group of city officials yesterday. They were from one city, and they were all sitting there in a group, and they were being very strategic, planning out who was going to go to what, and then sharing back information of they had gone to different things that morning, and they were sharing back. So it can be a great resource for a city.
That's right.
If you're strategic about it.
Yes,
but we are so glad to have you here this year and every year.
Thank you.
And we love working with the city of Douglasville, and you know, we're going to steal your chief.
No, don't steal my chief.
I'm just going to tell you, he's going to be here next year on a panel.
Public safety, you know, that's one of my highlights as well. And I'm really looking to try to do more infrastructure with ARC. I've been assigned to the Transportation Air Quality Committee, as well as Bike and Pedestrian. So we had the Young Game Changers come in our community.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yes, and they've had some great recommendations. We were on target with a lot of their recommendations, but just to look at long-term, how to help those millennials come in and stay in your community to really help it to be, you know, open up for the next generation.
Like where you're going with the arts and the, you know, the recreation and the downtown stuff, that's all things that are so important, not just to the millennials, but also to the baby boomers.
That's right.
We're seeing a lot of parallels in what they want. And, you know, you get them both there, you've got a great community.
Oh, my gosh. Economic development, jobs, build up downtown, exciting things.
And before we go, I want to mention that you are not just the only person in Douglasville working on this. You've got a great team of folks, too.
Yes, ma'am.
That are helping you. Tell us a little bit about the...
I could not do without my council and staff. We have 6 out of the 7 city council members here at GMA taking classes. And like you were saying about that other city, strategically looking at classes and coming back and comparing notes is going to help our council to be more effective and to be a strong team on that train that we talked
I was going
about,
to say,
setting that vision.
You guys have to work together to make sure the train is headed in the right direction. You can't have everybody pulling in different directions.
That's exactly right. And they have been imperative to the success of the city. They've been such a great council.
That's right.
There are 2 new council members that came on with me, but you wouldn't be able to tell.
It was seamless.
It was seamless.
That's
We're all
awesome.
in there together. Having that overlap of the Mayor Pro Tem, Larry Yockey, and other council members has just been so invaluable. And we have a great staff that's here as well. Our city
Right.
manager, city
Yes.
clerk. It's their 60th anniversary for city
yes.
clerks in the state of Georgia, and my special assistant. So having staff coming to get training as well helps all of us.
And you're
do
so
well.
right, and that is a big key. Is the people who are doing the day-to-day stuff, and the city manager, the city clerk, they do so much for cities in Georgia, and I don't think people realize the responsibilities
That's
that they
right.
have. I sometimes compare it to, you look at them as like the CEOs of a
Yes.
company.
Yes.
And if you change out CEOs every 3 years,
Oh, my
the
goodness.
company's never going anywhere.
Exactly.
You know.
So we need that continuity.
Yes. Well, it's great, and we appreciate you being
Thanks,
here, and
Amy.
we look forward to seeing all of the council. I've seen a couple around this morning. I
Oh,
know I'll run
good.
into them this afternoon too. Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you. Thanks again.